It states in Gemara Gitten 2a that one who brings a divorce, a document of divorce, from where? He brings it from overseas. So that individual has to say two things. He has to say, before me it was written, and before me it was signed. Now this is to establish the document just in case the Baal, the husband, were to come by and say, I didn't send that yet, I didn't write that yet. Well, he's there and he already established the get to say, before me it was written and signed. At that point, we do not allow the husband to come and argue at that point. Comes along Tosafoes, and he has a problem with the use of the word get. Get usually means a document of divorce. But Tosafoes' problem is, wait a second, if you look over there in 34b, you'll see that they use the word get, and it means all types of documents. All types. Not only that, if you look over there in 64a, the Marasha says V'chein Gitten, and also by Gitten, and it's referring to, the Gemara explains that it's referring to actual mamon, a document of a loan. So Tosafoes' problem is, how can it be that in our Mishnah, when it's saying that a person brings a document of divorce, a get from overseas, he has to say funny niktam, we don't even know what type of document it is. Maybe it's referring to a different type of document. Maybe it's referring to mamon. It's not clear. How could the Mishnah write down something that's so unclear? So Tosafoes wants to answer that the word get, if you would break it up, the majority of times the word get means divorce. And the minority of times it means money. So that's why it didn't have to explain in our Mishnah what it is. Because it says the word get. If you bring a get from Medina Siyam, you have to say funny niktab. But that's talking about the majority of times. The majority of times the word means divorce. It's only some of the time that the word means money. A document of a loan. Tosafoes continues and he explains, why does a document of divorce have 12 lines in it? Because the word get, gimel, tet. Gimel equals 3, tet equals 9. Add them together, you get 12. That's why a document of a get has 12. That's the first answer he gives. The other answer he gives is because between the 5 chamushim, here we have 5 books of the Torah, in between, the Gemara in Baba Basra says that between each sefer you have to have 4 lines. So that's where we get 12. The problem is you really wind up with 4, 8, 4, 8, 12, 16. So you really have wind up with 16. So he explains that really no, this is just, since the Chumash Devarim is really just a repeat, a repetition of the other 4 Chamashim, so therefore you don't count that. So the 4 lines between each sefer wind up to be the 12 lines of divorce. What does it do with divorce? Because it says sefer krisos. That means a separation. Book of separation. So here we have all the 5 books, and we have the books of separation between the books. So that's why we have 12 lines in a divorce. Comes along the Marasha and it says, listen, I don't like the answer that Tosafoes gave. Tosafoes basically said that since you have majority of times, you only have a small amount of times that it actually means money, but most of the time it means divorce. So that's the reason why I didn't have to explain it in the Mishnah. Then how can you explain the Gemara over there in 64a that used the simple word divorce, and it was referring to, the Gemara explains that it was referring to mamon. If you use divorce by itself, totally by itself, use the word divorce, and over there, at the end of the day, it refers to mamon, how could that possibly be? You wanted to tell me that the reason why we don't need, the question was that you needed to write it. You needed to write it in our Mishnah, and the answer was, I don't need to write it because I know that it's going according to the majority, which means divorce. But if that's true, then what do you do with the Gemara over there that in the end of the day says it's mamon? How can you write stam over there, the word divorce, the word get, and it's referring to actually mamon? It's not referring to divorce. Therefore, the Marasha wants to explain Tosafoes a little bit differently. The question of Tosafoes was never that in our Mishnah, that we absolutely need to define what it means, because in the other places it was defined as something else, and therefore you needed to explain it over here. That wasn't the original question. The question was why sometimes do we not explain it, like in our Mishnah, and in the other places we do explain it. Why? Why sometimes do we explain it and sometimes we don't explain it? The answer is going to be that since the majority of times it means divorce, so then when you're using it as divorce, so therefore you don't need to explain it. But other times when you want to use it as mammon, well, there you do need to explain it. And that's what exactly happened over in 64b. We explained it to mean that it means mammon. It's not that it can't mean both, but you only have to explain it if you're going to use it as mammon, if you're going to use it stam to mean divorce. So then you don't have to explain it, and that was the question of Tosafoes.